at Grace. It's Stephen again. Have you ever wondered why we sing when we come together? Have you ever asked yourself, why do we sing every week? I don't understand. What's the importance of it? There are several reasons why it's important. One, we're commanded to. We're called to sing praises to Him and glorify His name through song and through music. And since music is sort of this language that helps describe things that words can't, song is oftentimes the language of our heart. And so when you combine a melody with the truth of Scripture, or melody with the way that God has moved and acted on your behalf, and you use words and melody together, it just creates this emotional response. It's an intimacy and an intimate connection with God that allows us the opportunity to fully connect with Him and say, God, you are awesome, and you're awesome all the time. Scripture, I think, probably says it best in Psalm 96, and something I want to bring to your attention first is, I'm sure you've heard Jeff talk about this before, but anytime that the word Lord is actually in all capital letters, it's the author's way of telling you that it's Yahweh who you're talking to or talking about. And that's God's intimate, personal name for Himself, Yahweh. And so when you read Scripture, understand that that's what that means when Lord is in all capital letters. And so if we look at Psalm 96, starting in verse 1, it says, "Sing to Yahweh a new song. Sing to Yahweh all the earth. Sing to Yahweh, praise His name. Proclaim His salvation day after day. Declare His glory among the nations, His marvelous deeds among all peoples. For great is Yahweh, and most worthy of praise. He's to be feared above all gods, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens. Splendor and majesty are before Him. Strength and glory are in His sanctuary." And the cool thing about this is that it gives us some insight into how we should be singing. The first thing is when it says, "Sing to the Lord a new song." It doesn't necessarily mean that we're all coming together with our own new verses or our new songs. Essentially what that means is we're singing about the new experiences that God has given us, these fresh takes on even old songs. For example, we could have a new emotional response or a new experiential response to a song that we've sang 100 times. But it may just be a little bit different this time because of the experiences that God has allowed you to have. And so when it says sing to the Lord a new song, that's our individual responses, our own individual experiences that we're coming together with other people and other believers, all the earth, and we're bringing praise and glory to Him through that kind of experience. The second thing that it tells us to do is to proclaim His salvation day after day, declare His glory among the nations. Last week we talked about having sort of one of those mornings where you don't feel like singing. And it's in those moments where even if you don't feel like singing about the experiences that God has given you through the week, at least sing about the truth of who He is. And that sort of helps our perspective shift like we talked about last week. But it also coincides with how we're supposed to be singing. We're singing these new experiences, but we're also singing about who He is, the truth of who He is. And so I don't know if either one of these things are resonating with you or not, but it should sound pretty familiar, because when we talk about worship as being our obedient response to who He is and what He's done for us. And this passage of Scripture is saying we need to sing about all He's done and about who He is. And so that's the importance of singing. It's aligning all of us together. Song is the language of the heart combined with music that evokes emotion, and it helps us connect intimately with the God who desperately wants for each of us to intimately connect with Him. And so as we gather together Sunday morning, I want to ask you to sing. Even if you don't feel like it, just sing. And some of you guys are going to be like, well, I don't sound very good, or I can't carry a tune in a bucket. And I want to tell you, the Scripture says to make a joyful noise, not a beautiful noise, okay? So regardless of how you sound, regardless of how you feel like the person to your left or your right is going to think how you sing, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you're singing about who He is and you're singing about what He's done, and there's power in that. So I'll see you Sunday.